Hey guys, welcome back. And got a little adjusting I had to do here, on the Hornady, powder measure. But I've got it set up now, and it seems to be throwing really good weight. 43.5 is what we're going to go with the 150 grain bullet, 147 grain bullet, excuse me, M80 ball round. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to balance this off of what this is throwing, and we're going to check it with my 510 scale. I've had this scale for ever. I've had this scale for like over 30 years, and it's never failed me. This is a very good scale. If you guys can find one of these, they're great. I mean, you never have any problems with them. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to 43.5. So we're going to go up 4. I already zeroed it. And okay, there's 41. There's 42. There's 43. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Right there. Okay, guys, we should be there. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that off, we're going to put it in this powder pan, and we're going to go ahead and check it. Just do a little sampling here. Now if I throw that back on there, it's automatically going to go ahead and dispense another charge. So let's see what this does. Yeah. We'll try this again. Let's see what this happens. Let's see what this does. Okay. Put that back in there. Set that back on there. And away we go. This thing was kind of hard to figure out, so I don't even know if I really have it, dead set. Okay, got a green light, 43.5. So let's give this a try one more time. Okay, this is what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to throw this back in here. I'm going to throw that back there. And we're going to re-zero our balance beam here. Make sure that we're doing this right here. See if we've got it on a level deal. There we go. Again, 0, 0, and okay, I'm going to go ahead and adjust this foot just a little bit. Okay, now back up to 43. Okay, there we go. All right, try again. As you can see, guys, always important to get these little deals out, on the little printer deal, and you can just go ahead and print the type of powder it is and just set it right on top of the powder measure, and you got it. I mean, you're never gonna screw that up. Okay, we got a green light, and we're gonna go ahead and check this. Just a little bit. We're probably off maybe a tenth of a grain. I think that's pretty much the acceptable thing with, you know, this particular powder measure. So it's throwing under, so I'm not really going to worry about it. Okay, got a green light. So let's see what this does. I'm going to call that good, guys. I think we're dead on. So anyway, I've already charged 5 cases, and I got my trusty Reading powder funnel. And we're just going to keep on moving on here. Now, this is a really handy rig. I mean, you don't have to sit there and, you know, throw any charges or anything like that, or, you know, like the old style ones where you just, you know, you got to turn the handle and all that stuff. And it throws a more accurate charge, I believe, that if you were using like a Dillon 550 press, and so like you were going to go ahead and you were going to mass produce something, you can actually set this thing up so it's throwing your powder charges at the same time that you're, you know, seating your bullets. And so then you can just pour the powder in through the funnel in the top of the press, and you know you're staying right on there, and you're making things progressively. So now you just got me doing something that I shouldn't have done. Yeah, everybody's done that once or twice. That's one thing I like about, you know, dense powders is that, you know, you're not going to overcharge. It'll definitely let you know right there. There you go. It's trying. Look at that. 43.5. There we go. Okay. This is why it's always important when you're doing cases like this, that you have a flashlight. You know, when you get done with all the cases, you just turn your flashlight on, go under, you know, just go over the top of all your cases, make sure they're all charged. There you go. Dead on. Tell you what, it's doing its thing. There you go. Yep. Like I said, when you first get this thing, you gotta kind of play with it a little bit, and you know, put some powder in it and mess around with the modes a little bit, you know, and kind of get the ball rolling in your head on how this thing really operates. It's actually pretty simple. It's just that there's certain steps that you have to remember when you're doing this. Like I said, I'm new to this. I just got it out of the box today, and you know, I was having a problem earlier calibrating it, but I figured out what I was doing wrong. So anyway, I got past that part, and then it was overcharging every time, so I ended up having to go ahead and adjust the speed. You know, other than that, it's working just fine now. I'll tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna check this one on the powder measure. I'm gonna throw that back on there. And yeah, we're looking at maybe a half, maybe maybe a tenth. I'm not going to worry about something like that. We're still throwing under, so no big deal. That's a heck of a lot more accurate than you're going to get with, say, like a Dillon powder measure, by throwing extruded powder like this. And, that's another thing too. Back when I was shooting high power, for my 200 yard and my 300 yard loads, I set up the powder measure and I would throw those charges. I mean, I wouldn't weigh each and every one of them. I'd get like, 5 to 8 of them done, then check and make sure the powder measure was still on, then just keep going. Otherwise I'd be there all night, Make sure yeah, there we go. 43.5. I'll tell you something, ammunition costs nowadays, what you're going to pay for, 20 rounds of 308, quality ammunition, it's a little bit ridiculous. I can't believe what they're charging in the store, for 20 shots. I mean, you're going to get 20 shots out of that and you're going to spend like 15 to 18 bucks. And that's highway robbery to me. I'm going to move this out of the way. Move this a little closer so I'm not reaching over stuff, and make sure that I'm not double charging here. It's kind of hard to stay on the ball when you're trying to talk at the same time and film, so that's something that I'm starting to learn how to do. One guy, we went over. We're over. So let's throw that back in there. Okay, and I think what you do is you press enter. Okay, and then what you do is you press 0. Oops. Well, see, I did something wrong there. Okay, I got a little bit of a mess on my hands. So what I'm going to do is take this off very carefully. Put that back in there. I'm not going to cry over spilt milk. That really wasn't that much. Most of it went in the pan anyway. So what we're going to do is we're going to press 0. No, we're going to press enter. Okay, now we're going to go. Okay, something screwed up here. Okay, let's try again. Okay, this is what the off button's for. Alright, so what we're going to do is go back into the mode here. Okay, we're going to go ahead and 0. 43.5, 435, and then we're going to press enter. That'll go into our target, and then we will go ahead and push dispense. There we go. Right on the money, dude. Add some more powder here. That should be it. Yeah, there we go. Just out of curiosity, I'm going to go ahead and check this one out again. Yeah, dead on. Dead on. That's dead on. Got an overcharge. So I think you press enter. And press enter to acknowledge that. And then take this off, put that back on there. And there you go. Like I said, I'm still learning how to use this thing. But you can see by that last charge, I mean, it was dead on. I mean, there was no reason to. 43.2, come on. Look at her. She's just barely doing her thing there. She's turning. There you go. A little bit more. This is amazing. $43.5. Right on the money. You know, this is just on normal speed too. I mean, it has a slow speed and a fast speed. I'm just going to keep it on the normal speed. I've been, seeing on different, reviews and stuff that guys have been saying that, if you put it on the fast speed, well, you're going to overcharge, So there you go. Easy as pie. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and continue on with this and just, keep on going on and get my charges all done. And then after a little bit, I'll be back and we'll start doing bullet selection. And we'll go ahead and we'll go through the ogives and use the bullet, comparator, and I'll show you how to use that on the Hornady unit. A little bit. There you go. There you go. 43.5. You know, for all intents and purposes, you know, these are more accurate, you know, throws that you're going to get, like I said, than on some mechanical device that you're going to use. You know, like your Dillon powder measure. You know, that thing will have a variance of, you know, a half a grain to a full grain. You know, you've got to really kind of adjust those and get them just right, and you have to do the rhythm just right when it's going, and you got to keep your powder measure a certain amount, you know, full and all that. When we're talking like you know, a tenth of a grain, or you know, we get down to that minute of an adjustment in our powder throws. You know, powder fouling, copper fouling, you know, air density, all that other stuff is going to have more of effect on where that bullet's going to go than, you know, having that, you know, variable there. So, you know, when you're talking like a tenth of a grain, plus or minus a tenth of a grain is a very small amount. I don't think that, you know, it's anything to really worry about when you got plus or minus a tenth of a grain. I mean, if you got accuracy down to a tenth of a grain, you know, that's pretty good. So anyway, so there it is. That's the Hornady lock and load powder measure. You know, I've seen a lot of reviews, a lot of negative reviews. One guy on a blog said his caught on fire or something like that. You know, you never know about people. You know, I mean, you know, he might have another brand or something, and he's just saying this is junk. But you know, everybody that I know that I've talked to about this, you know, they really like them. I mean, you know, they work pretty good. You know, so I know that so far mine seems to be working just fine. A little bit, a little bit, a little bit. Yep, there it is. Boom, bang, we're on. How about that, guys? So anyway, this is Thorzak's, and as soon as I get all these, you know, all these charged, we'll go back out to the garage, and you know, first we'll go through some bullet selection, and then we'll go back out to the garage, and then we'll play around with bullet depth and that sort of thing. I'm not going to crimp these. I mean, I'm going to shoot these in a bolt action, so I'm not going to crimp them. So I just thought I might let you know that. Okay, so anyway, this is Thorzak's, and I'll be back soon.